Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So I am so excited about today's video. First of all, if you're new here, make yourself welcome because it's not just my face you're going to be seeing. There is someone special in the building today. So we're going to be talking about the topic that you have seen in the title or maybe the thumbnail. And with me here today, I have Dr. Joey. I am going to let her introduce herself. But please, my people, let me encourage you to hop on over to her channel. So we did another video there on loneliness, which I am very sure you would enjoy watching. So please hop on over to her channel. Watch that video, but don't stop there. There's a lot of other good stuff happening on that channel. Okay, so you also want to pitch your tent there. Make sure you hop on over to Dr. Joey's channel. I'm going to leave a link in the description. Okay, as you always welcome me here, I want you to also welcome Dr. Joey. Leave your comments in the comment section. Say something nice to her. And of course, we want to hear your thoughts on the topic we are going to be discussing. So, Dr. Joey, over to you.
Hi, everyone. It's such an honor to be on your channel, Choma. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Dr. Josephine Okurame, Dr. Joey Okurame. Whatever you want to call me is fine. Jojo is fine. It can be very informal. I am currently working as a postdoctoral researcher and also a lecturer part time. What else? I'm a bit multifaceted, so I don't like introducing myself because it's like a lot of the things I do, they don't link, they're just contradictory. So for instance, I run a catering business called Charcoal and Chops. You can check us out on Instagram. I also have like an e-commerce store that I run. I also run an NGO with my husband called the Gleaming Tribe. Yeah, so a few things, very multifaceted and praying for alignments for everything to kind of make sense so I can have one introduction. But for now, I'm just doing everything that I've been called to do, and that's pretty much what you need to know about me.
Yep, fantastic. And I'm just going to say something here, okay? I had Joe's meat pies over the weekend. People, Charcoal and Chops on Instagram, go over there and, start doing wonderful things, placing orders and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
I can't. I
So,
can't do it. Joe. We had a festival. If you're in Sydney, you heard about the Motherland Festival. It was massive, back to back queues. I just love the fact that we're bringing Nigerian food to the world because Australians, they haven't even started. Nigerian food is like taste
what are
bud
you saying?
tingling. So I just, yeah, anything about bringing the culture to overseas, to abroad, I'm for it. I'm all for it. So yeah, thanks for
Yes.
passing by, Chi, and it was
No
nice to see you
problems. It
there.
was a really fantastic experience. So, yep. Anyway, so today we're talking about relocation, okay? And specifically, we're talking about whether relocating to another country is betraying your home country. A little backstory on how we came about this topic, right? I made a video recently. Someone came under that video and dropped a comment about how those of us who have relocated from Nigeria are fond of bashing Nigeria once we land in another country, and how we run away because we do not want to stay back and develop Nigeria, but we're always so keen to run to other developed countries that other people have put in the effort to develop. Off of that comment, I was just thinking, is it really betrayal when you relocate to another country? Is that what we should be calling it when you relocate to another country?
I find that very interesting because you have the set of people that will still come on when you have people that maybe they traveled, they just did the Japa movement and they've realized that abroad is not all, green on the other side. It's a little bit tough. And they come to share their experiences about, working in certain industries or working in the cold. And they're like, oh, London is not like the Canada is this, Australia is this. Same people will be bashing them in the comments. If it's that bad, come back to Nigeria. Let's go. We were trying to go. You're bashing the country. So then when you then say, oh, this is what's happening here, it's actually pretty positive for us here. Then they're also attacking in the comment section saying, you should be here. I mean, like you cannot satisfy everyone. You can't win. That's the truth. But yeah, go ahead.
And it's really funny because I feel like those kind of comments are, what would I say? Sometimes I feel like people are just being deliberately wanting to troll online. But maybe it's also being short-sighted in a sense that you just do not want to acknowledge to yourself that there are valid reasons why people would relocate, which will bring me to the question, Joe, like, what actually led to you coming to Australia?
So the real reason why I moved to Australia was to do my master's. I think general consensus that time was that Nigerian universities were not the best. There were lots of strikes happening. I have people that were in school that spent more, almost double the duration of time because of the strikes that were happening. So it was kind of like a given because I actually moved, we relocated before prior to me coming back to do my youth service as a family. And so we had kind of seen the abroad education system and we knew that it was good, it was ideal. I knew I wanted to do my master's overseas because the certificate is recognized globally. And even in Nigeria during my youth service, what I noticed was that if you come home with an international certificate, you actually get a better job than the people that studied in Nigeria. So there were many reasons for me to relocate. And those were the main three: to do my master's overseas, to avoid the strikes in the university, to get an internationally recognized certificate. Those are my reasons.
That's great. Yeah. My own reasons were a little different. Okay. I am going to be very honest and say that we wanted a better life. Let me put it that way. It's not like we had a horrible life back in Nigeria, but we were looking for better opportunities and also, just better outcomes on a lot of different things. I have not really gone into the story in depth here on the channel, but I have touched a little bit on it. Part of the reason we left Nigeria, actually, what led up to the day that we made the decision that we were leaving Nigeria was something to do with insecurity. So my husband went out that day and was almost involved in a bombing incident that happened in Abuja because we lived in Abuja back then. He had just left Emma Plaza, and less than 10 minutes later, that bomb went off. Lots of people were killed. That was not the first time it was happening. Around that time in 2015, bombing incidents were so common. And off of that, my husband came home that day because I had already spoken to him about leaving Nigeria sometime previously. And he was like, no, we are not going anywhere, because he's that kind of person. He was one of those, I believe in Nigeria people. I believe we can make it here. But after that incident, he was shaken up enough to revisit that conversation with me as soon as he got home. And that was why we left. Also, there were lots of other economic issues, not being paid what you're owed and when it is due, lots of those kind of issues. And we just kept thinking, what kind of life can we actually make in Nigeria where it's so possible for you to go to bed a millionaire and wake up the following morning a pauper? Those were parts of the reasons that led to the decision for us to leave Nigeria. And if anyone would ask, I would say very proudly that we left for a better life. And so, going off of that, just knowing that there are valid reasons or reasons that people consider valid in their own personal circumstance that would lead to them making the decision to leave Nigeria. How do you define the concept of loyalty to your home country? And do you believe relocating contradicts that loyalty?
So you're asking if like relocation is betrayal to
Yeah,
my
is it
country, basically.
betrayal?
I would define the concept of loyalty as attachment, commitment, and support to my home country. Now, this is just me putting a definition on it. And that's my definition of loyalty. You demonstrate some level of attachment to your country, some level of commitment to your country, and support to your country. Now, I've mentioned these three things as my own personal definition, right? And I don't think that I need to be in Nigeria to demonstrate these three things. I'll explain. Attachment to my country means I am Nigerian. I'm proudly Nigerian. Whether or not I'm Australian, it doesn't matter. I'm not dropping my nationality. I'm a dual citizen. Do you know what I mean? In terms of attachment, I'm over here in Australia, literally running a catering business, cooking Nigerian food. I don't know what other level of attachment you want me to have to my home country, where I'm still trying to, irrespective of,
the fact that, all these things that are negative coming out of the country, I'm still trying to project Nigerian food. I'm still trying to bring Nigerian food to the world. I could have literally just dropped it and made intercontinental dishes. I mean, there are lots of restaurants in Nigeria that are making Western dishes and not Nigerian dishes. I'm over here being attached, running a whole company that focus on Nigerian dishes. So that's my own way of being attached to the country. Commitment. Commitment means I still have a tie to the country. I still love my country. I'm not so angry with the country as some people are right now. Because a lot of people that are jackbuying, they don't want to hear anything about Nigeria. Like they've been so hurt, sis, so burnt by the country there. So I'm not there yet because me, I jackpot a long time ago. So I still miss the country. I still love it. In terms of commitment, you won't believe I did my bachelor's in Malaysia. I did my bachelor's in Malaysia in an Australian university in Malaysia, but I went back home to do youth service. None of my other siblings went back home to do youth service. Most people I know, like, why are you going back home to do youth service? I'm like, what is Nigeria now? It's our country. And I didn't do that youth service where, you just go there and then you leave. Like you just pay and sort some people out and you leave. I was there for the whole year. I did the camp. Was it 3 weeks or 4 weeks in Noah Bamtai in Port Harcourt? I was a parade commander. I
Wow.
was, those people that greet the DG when they arrive. You guys, if you do youth service, all these things I'm saying. Hey, that is commitment. I don't know which other commitment you guys want. So
Very patriotic.
very patriotic. I went back to serve my nation. And you know why? Because I've always had this feeling that we are going abroad to learn and bring it home. That's just what my mentality has always been like. The people that are doing so well right now, look at Nollywood. It's looking like Hollywood. Like they learned these things from Western countries and they brought it back home. So when people are saying you're leaving your country, you're betraying, I'm like, what are we learning there? How about the people that actually have the intention? Not that I have a plan on when it's going to happen, because I mean, it's not really getting better as I anticipated. But yeah, so the whole commitment thing I had, because back in the day, and I don't even know if this is still true. You guys can let me know in the comment section. If you don't do your youth service, you can't work in Nigeria under certain industries or organizations. I don't know if that's the case. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just do it so that in the future, when I come back, I'll be able to, work in those industries. So that was me demonstrating commitment. Now, support for my home country. My sister, I buy things from Niger. I still import food from Niger. I support vendors, all these people selling trad material, hair. I could get hair here. I just want to support my people. And then last election, how many people in diaspora were not supporting? We were so excited. Like we were like, it was as if this is the door we need to come back home. Listen, guys, I don't care what anybody says. Most people in diaspora love Niger. That's the truth. We love our country. Forget all this. Why are you leaving? Da, da, da. My husband was like your husband. Just, we will stay, we'll fight for Niger, this and that. Like, I mean, he just traveled home recently and he was telling me there were people that were telling him when he was going, don't worry, you come back and meet us. Yeah, Nigeria is going to change, this and that. And when he went back, they were the ones asking him, oh, my brother, please, how do we join you there? How do we jackpot? It's painful because when you really talk to people that are genuinely hurt by the whole situation of things, they actually love the country. They want to go back. So it's not a matter of we go there, we start bashing Nigeria. No, 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 no. Majority of people love the country and they were just frustrated. So in terms of loyalty, that's what my definition of loyalty. And does it mean when you travel abroad, you're being disloyal to your country? My sister, loyalty goes both ways. You cannot be loyal in a relationship and that person is constantly cheating on you. And you're saying,
Always been my position.
exactly, exactly. Because at some point, you're going to look at your life and say, this is not for me. I've been loyal.
Yes.
I've been here. I've been fighting. Nigeria is going to change this and this and that. Everybody was so hopeful during the last election. Like, yeah, this is the thing we need to get us back home. And then you're sitting there saying, you should stay back and fight for your country. Only you. It's only you that's going to stay back. You know what I mean? You get to a point where you're now thinking about loyalty to your immediate family. And like you said, relocating for safety, for a better life. You're thinking about the future of your kids, securing them, as opposed to a country that doesn't necessarily care about you. So loyalty goes both ways. In every situation, relationships, friendships, it takes two to make something work. And that's my stance. Oh my goodness. I don't feel like adding anything because you've captured exactly how I feel about this topic of loyalty. Like, how do you make it work when the other person is actively sabotaging? Because at this point, I feel like Nigeria, unfortunately, as an entity, is actively sabotaging the efforts of its citizens. How can you make it work there? Okay, well, I'm not going to water that down. I feel like you touched all the different corners. So that leads me to my next question about how you navigate pursuing personal aspirations and still maintaining that sense of connection to your country. How do you maintain a balance between these two?
Okay, that's a really good question. So I think your personal aspirations are the things you want to get out of your life. You know, how you want a better life for yourself, your career, and certain things that perhaps the country is not able to offer you currently, whether you want to fight for it or not. Currently, as we speak today, when you graduate, are you going to get a job in your field? When you graduate, are you going to get the work experience that you require? Are you going to be safe to navigate? Are you going to be paid what's due to you in due time and as it is your right to work and get paid? You know, these are the questions you're going to ask yourself. We're not talking about the future and fighting. We're talking about right now. Those are your personal aspirations. I'm sitting here and they're still owing us alawi from youth service. They've not paid me. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, for how long? You understand? So, are you going to still hold on to that? And at what age are you going to be like, okay, let me now look out for myself and my family because, things are not changing? So that's where the relocation thing comes into play, right? The jackpot thing. Everyone wants to leave now to find a better life for themselves and for their family. That's you pursuing your personal aspirations. When you get out here, you see the way Nigerians work. Man, Nigerians are on the top of most industries. In the universities, they're doing really well. Forget the bad reputation that we have. They're not they're not emphasizing the good, positive things that people are doing. So balancing personal aspirations with loyalty to back home is, I would say, try not to be angry too much at the country. You understand? I think a lot of the time, and I get it when you talk to people and they're so passionate about Nigeria is this, Nigeria is not going anywhere, da 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 da. Is anger. If you check well, is real love inside. So Nigeria is not just bad government. Don't look at home as just bad government. Look at it as where you grew up, those connections and ties that no matter where you go, you will not find it. You see that thing where it says there's no place like home, irrespective of how crazy the place is. Like home, Niger is, Auntie BC down the road, your favorite bole woman that you can just go and tell her to pack food for you. Home is being able to do box braids for $20 because you have your braider that even comes home and does it for you. Home is calling your tailor to sew adire, to sew agbada for you at a reasonable price. All these things that we've grown up with um is what we know as home. Home is that church that you feel safe in, you feel spiritually covered in. Home is having the access to your friends, to your loved ones, to a whole bunch of people. That's home. That's what we should try and look at Nigeria as. And then that way we don't stay so angry at the country to where we don't want to have anything to do with the country. We don't want to go back to the country. But in the meantime, we're pursuing our personal aspirations by looking for a better life overseas and ranking high. I mean, we're so competitive. Choma, I wish if I show you one of my grades in my master's level that I got 90 something percent. Like who does that? You don't need that for masters. You just need a certificate over here. Nobody needs you to be 90, but we're so competitive, we're so devoted in every aspect. So you pursue your personal aspirations, get to the top of your level, and still love your country enough to, if things change, we can come back. Now we have the expertise, we have the knowledge, we've learned from first world countries, we're bringing it back home to third world countries. And, that's the balance. So it's not a hate thing, it's not a this versus this. Is either you're with us or against us. No, it doesn't work like that. Home is still home. Home is where the heart is. But Niger self, people should try for us. Do better. Do better. My sister.
When we talk about things getting better back home, we're not saying we want it to be as flashy as, in my look here. We just want working systems. That is all. Just put the systems in place and the rest is history. See, a lot of us will come back with what we have learned, as Joe said, and we would be more than happy to invest that into our own homeland. But when people talk about loyalty in the sense of, oh, you have left the country, remember that a lot of us are still making remittances back home, and that is helping that economy back home to stay afloat. Yeah, isn't that supporting our home country, even if we're not there physically? And then there are people who live in Nigeria, they've not gone anywhere. I can bet you they are not as patriotic as some of us who live outside. Yeah, this is not me bashing Nigeria, but let's just be factual about these things. Loyalty to your home country does not, I don't think it's a function of where you actually live. It's just about maintaining those connections, as you said, Joe. There's so much to draw out of this topic, but in the interest of time, okay, we are going to stop somewhere. And this is where I want to encourage you to leave those comments in the comment section. Please, let's keep it respectful, okay? We're not here to bash anybody, and we just want to have a healthy interaction. Let us know what you think about this topic of loyalty to your home country, whether you're in your home country or you've left your home country. Okay, final words, Joe. What would you say to anyone who is thinking about relocating right now, but is torn between this whole thing about staying loyal to the home country or the homeland? What would you say to them?
Okay. So first things first, I think I need to highlight that there's some people that they do not want to leave Nigeria no matter what you tell them.
Yeah.
They're so comfortable. Like even us, we here, we're envying them. Like we want to go back because the life that some people live,
Some
I
people are
get it.
so comfortable in Nigeria. Why would you leave
They would even
that?
struggle. They would struggle
They will
overseas
struggle. Yeah.
instead of Nigeria. But now you're talking about someone that genuinely wants to relocate, but is,
Yeah.
fighting loyalty. First thing to say is that even your leaders, they travel overseas for
All the
health
time.
checkup.
Mm. All the time.
That should
They
tell you
actually
something.
live there and
That,
come to visit Nigeria.
that should tell you something. That should tell you something. So I think the first question you ask yourself is, what is good for me?
Mm.
What is good for me and my immediate family? And in the interim, what is good for my future?
Yeah.
I've been here for 10 years and I can tell you, I don't think I would be where I am now if I was in Nigeria,
Mm.
honestly speaking. This is knowing my counterparts, perhaps, or even knowing the let's say the degrees I've obtained, or the jobs that I've done, or the businesses that I've started, and how they thrive, and like the potential to grow. So I'd have no regrets about leaving. And so my advice to such a person is think about what is good for you right now.
Mm.
You can be loyal from a distance, and you can still be loyal when you return after you've attained the knowledge and the experience and the expertise that you need. So don't let anyone guilt trip you into thinking that wanting a better life for yourself and for your family and for your kids is disloyalty. Just do what works for you and pursue bettering your life as opposed to fighting for a cause that may not be fighting for you just as hard.
Yes. Beautiful words spoken there. I have always been of the opinion that even if you're not relocating for a better life, travel, generally speaking, is a good thing. It is something that I would encourage. Some of the experiences you would get from traveling are not things you would read in a book. You would not find them in a book. The kind of exposure you would receive and just expanding your perspectives on life generally. This is something that you can do for yourself as part of your personal development. Yeah. So if anyone is trying to hold you down in a place with the argument about loyalty, if not for anything else, go out and see the world. And then you would understand that there is more to life and there's more, there's other ways of being from what you've always been used to in your little corner. Those would be my final words.
Excellent. Excellent. Well
Yeah.
said. Well put.
Okay. And at this point, people,
See what you guys have to say in the comment section.
yes, yes, yes. I would really love to get into those comments and see what everyone is thinking. On that note, people, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so. Thank you so much. And give this video a thumbs up. Again, a reminder, hop on over to Dr. Joe's channel. There is another video we dropped there. You might actually see that one before this or this before that, but just so you know, there's two. Okay, we're giving you two in one.
Hot topics.
Yeah, hot topics. So I will leave you now. Dr. Joe, thank you so, so much for gracing this channel with your presence. And finally, this eventually happened after all the hiccups. I'll see you again next week or whenever you see me again. Bye bye, everyone.
Bye.